We went from rags to riches. Rags to riches. We went from rags to riches. Look at how far we come, and to think it's the beginning, yet we're far from done. We didn't make it as a scholar, but we're far from dumb. And ain't nobody wanna see us, we're too far to run. Yo, to think we were chilling in bandos with dirt on our shirt, kinda looking like camo. Whole rack full of shoes, and before it was sandals. Got lights in the crib, so no more burning candles. I remember taking a bus, living in the ghetto, thank God it just never stuck. Now we pushing even harder, no longer rely on luck. Went from bags up in the arms, some keys and could start the truck. Homie, we never taking a break, time is wasted.
What is going on, everybody? David Breedlove here. I am the founder of the Clever Moneymakers. I'm also a serial entrepreneur where I've started a construction business. I've been involved now with network marketing for a few years and affiliate marketing, making money online daily through, reoccurring revenue, passive income, residual income, whatever you want to call it. That's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. But the reason that I'm starting this new channel and the whole focus around it is to show you that I'm also a recovering addict, and I have a laundry list of, felonies and DUIs and all these other things. And what I've found is that over the past year or so, where I've actually started teaching people and coaching people and stuff like that, it's actually, the message of recovery just reworded a little bit that has gotten me, quite a following behind me. So the reason I'm putting together this page is because, I want to re-educate some people about, maybe the limitations that they think that they have as a result of having a bad criminal history because of, drug use or, just whatever. Actually, I look at it as more of an advantage. So what I've done is I do the 12 steps. I'm not going to say what group I'm a member of just because, I'm not representing that right now. What I'm trying to put out into the universe is just that, the things that I've been through throughout my whole life brought me to where I am right now. Okay. And the beautiful thing about the world we live in today is that, on the street, it can be hard to overcome these stigmas that have been put on us as a result of, what we were doing when we were younger. And once I started my own business, especially once I moved on to going online, I found out that that stuff doesn't matter online. Since I've started my own businesses, never once was I asked for my criminal record. Never once was I asked, what did I do in my past, stuff like that. It was almost like I was given a clean slate. But what ultimately really started getting me results was when I started to coach people, and what I was utilizing was, what I knew best, right? How to how to work through an issue as a result of, working on goals, taking a daily inventory, really getting down to, who I am as a person and what I can really help people with. And once I started doing that, that's when the results got really big. So why am I doing this page? Well, I feel like a lot of times that we feel like we're stuck in this box, right? Society has put us in this box, whether we've been released from jail or not, or we've been released from the binds of addiction or not. We feel like we're just trapped here and that there's no way out. And what I want to kind of explain to you guys is, that's just what your mind wants you to think. Some would say that's what your disease wants you to think, right? Your disease wants you to think that, you'll never be anything other than just an addict. Or even if you're past that point, even if you're at that point in your life where you're getting some of your gifts of recovery and you're like, hey, my relationships are getting better. My family relationships are getting better. I have a better job. I feel better about myself. I don't mind looking in the mirror anymore. But I can't be financially free because, I have felonies. Nobody will hire me. Nobody will give me that type of position. So the beautiful thing about the world that we're in these days is that you can literally give yourself that type of position. It just takes applying the principles that you've worked on, the principles that I worked on, applying them in all areas of my life. So I think it's funny how sometimes we can look at it like, yeah, I'm applying it in my relationship and my relationship's getting better. Yeah, I'm applying it with, my attitude and my attitude's getting better. Yeah, I'm applying it with my spirituality, but um, my spirituality is getting better. And I'm applying it at work and I'm getting some promotions or I'm moving a little bit forward, but I know that I'll never be able to get to here. And that is the wrong way of thinking, because you can absolutely get to here. You can absolutely become a business owner. You can absolutely outgrow what you've done in the past by taking a few simple steps. So I wanted to bring to light just how simple some of these things are to do. And it's very important to me because I did that before. When I got released from prison in 2015 after doing 15 months, that was my last bid I had to do. I took a job for $10 an hour. And, I was lucky to get that job. I have felony manufacturer distribution, I have felony conspiracy, felony fraud, 3 DUIs. I don't even know how many possession charges I've had, all this kind of stuff. So when I was getting out, the best I could find was $10 an hour, and it took me almost 3 months to find that job. After doing that job for a little bit over a year, I took a part-time job on the weekends where I was making $9.75 an hour, and that was at a treatment facility. It was actually at a halfway house that I went through before I was locked up. When I got released, I was coming up on 2 years clean. Even though I went in and only did 15 months, I almost had 6 months clean when I went in. So I was just awaiting a sentencing. And when I got out, I got plugged in with my old network, but I was having trouble finding a job. So after I was out for a little bit, I got the tech job at the halfway house that I went through down here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. So I was now at this point too, I was making closer to $12 an hour at my job, but I needed a part-time job because I was getting laid off for the winter and I needed to, fill that time. So I took that job, and so now I was making $9.75 an hour. Plus, I was working a little bit here and there under the table while I was waiting to get the winter would be over to go back to my landscaping job. And so, I mean, this was the kind of pay I was working for. Like, luckily, I didn't have any kids. I was living in recovery houses and I was going to meetings, and that was like my main thing, right? So I got rehired for the once spring came around, and then I was working the halfway house on the weekends, and I was working my full-time job Monday through Friday for, I think I was at like $12.50 an hour there. So I was working my way up, but I knew that I'm only going to get so far being in landscape, being a laborer for somebody, right? The next year I got laid off again, and I was, continuing to work at the halfway house, and now I was making like $14 an hour, and now I got to collect unemployment. And for me, I was like, this is amazing, right? I'm collecting unemployment. I got a little side gig, and during the week, I'm working under the table. Like, I was stacking away money for the first time in my life, right? And to me, it was the best thing ever. I had gotten a girlfriend, things were looking up for me. And the next year, I started working again, and I was moving my way up, and I hit foreman, right? And my foreman wage was $17.50 an hour. And then we found out we were going to have a baby, right? So, life was happening. I was moving forward, writing on my steps. I was, really heavily involved. I was doing everything that I felt I needed to do to prepare for my first kid coming. And, my boss kept telling me, the sky's the limit, the sky's the limit, right? But like when you're the foreman, in this company at least, the only person above me was the boss. So how far was I going to be able to go? Right. So I was making 17.50 an hour, and the winter was coming up. And, for me, I was just like, why is the highlight of my year getting laid off so I can collect unemployment? Because it hit me that I was never going to get farther past this. At most I was going to be able to make maybe $18 an hour. Nobody else that I ever knew that worked for this man was making that much. So like, how much farther was I really going to go? And for me, I felt like I was in that box again, right? Where I was making decent money, but now I have a kid coming on the way. We got to get a bigger place. I need a bigger car. Life is happening. So we got laid off, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to start my own construction business. So I started up my own business, and I didn't realize that it was really only a few little bits of paperwork that I had to fill out in order to become an LLC. And it really wasn't that expensive. I think for the whole process to get my business up and going with insurance and everything, I spent like a little bit over $1,000 to get my state registration, my LLC business form, my insurance, my bank account, all these kind of things just to get everything set up. I spent around $1,000, give or take a little bit. And I was officially a licensed state registered contractor. So the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is because I never realized that it only cost that much to be able to open up a full construction business. I mean, Grant, you're going to have tools and a truck and all. I had those things. That's which most people that work for contractors do. You have your own tools, you have your own vehicle to get to and from jobs. So I had these things, and I started up my business, and I never realized that it only cost that much, right? So I started up that business, and after about a year in it, I was looking for ways to find more leads on jobs, so I wouldn't have to use like Angie's List and Home Advisor, because they looked at your record, right? They were always on top of that. They were always, you can't be on our platform if you have felonies or whatever. So so what I did was I started looking into marketing, like how to market my business on Facebook. And as I went down that journey, I found out about an industry called network marketing and affiliate marketing. They're two very similar things, but they're different. But it's basically like, you make money promoting other people's products. And the cool thing about this, guys, is that you don't have to pay any money to get involved as far as like starting up a business goes. There might be some fees depending on what company you go to, where you might have to pay an introduction fee just to become a promoter, but sometimes you don't. Not every company makes you do that. And you are a business owner as soon as you get your first paycheck, because you're going to get a 1099. Now, some people might think that, well, I don't want to get a 1099 because I'm going to have to pay taxes then. But just because you get a 1099, now you're a self-employed person, and you get to write off portions of your rent, portions of your car, your bills. I mean, you can work into it with like clothes. You need clothes for business. Anything that you can think of that would be a business write-off, you can utilize that. So I actually, in order to help me grow my business, I started getting little books made, and I have one called The Clever Moneymaker Tax Acts. Clever Moneymaker, that's a group, a partner and I started up, or we actually teach people how to become network marketers. But I got a book put together for people that were joining up, and allowing us to show them how to do the business so that they knew everything that they can write off. So a 1099, you're only going to pay taxes on if you don't know what you're doing. And we make sure that everybody that joins with us, they know what they're doing. So there's the tax benefits, right? And now you can start growing a business from home. You don't need to go right out and get a business EIN and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can literally just get started and almost run as a sole proprietor for however long you want. And it, I'm looking at my other business where, I'm spending a couple, $1,000 a month with materials, business insurance, truck insurance, paying people. I'm spending thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And I wasn't really taking home that much because I was trying to grow a business. But now here I am on the side making money, and I'm not having to do physical labor. I get to be home more with the kids. And here's another thing too, is they did not look at my criminal background. They did not look to see that, oh, he's got a manufacturer distribution felony. They didn't look to see that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't look at that stuff. They just said, you're your own business. Like, you basically, you're going to get paid on commissions. You don't work, you don't do anything, you don't make anything. Right? But the cool thing was as I growed in the process and I was trying to teach other people, what I found was that my message of recovery worked very well in helping people change their mindsets, get past those false beliefs. Because what I found is that, whether people have had drug addiction or whatever, sometimes we think that is just for us, right? That we're the only ones that have those insecurities. We're the only ones that have those, thoughts going through their head that they're just not going to make it, or nobody cares. I'm not going to make sense anyways. I'm not going to be successful. Like, those are normal things that most people have. The difference between what we would consider normal people and us that have had drug addiction in our past and, jail time and all this stuff is that we've hit bottom. We've hit bottom so many times. We're some of the strongest people in the world, and we've overcome. A lot of normal people, they haven't gotten to that point in their life yet. And I'm not saying that all of them, but I look at it like this. A lot of those people that I work with, they literally have to be in this process and allow this to break them down in order for them to start building themselves back up. So my message of recovery has made me rich. It has transformed my life financially as well. So I have another podcast. It's called the Clever Moneymaker Podcast. And that one we give more like strategies. But as we were doing it and as we were creating more and more videos, and, then we have our Facebook group, which is the MLM Master Hacks Facebook group. As I was doing lives and stuff like that every day, I started to find that, if I just shared stuff about who I was as a person, the struggles that I went through, how I went through jail, how I came out, how I turned my life around, and now I'm not held down by the bounds of my past. All of a sudden, I started really doing well in this industry. Like, people were gravitating to me, and the same principles apply throughout recovery, right? It's like we're taught to share. We're taught to, when something hurts, talk about it, and then talk about how you got through it, and give that message of hope, that transparency, that vulnerability. That has made me rich in this process just by applying the same principles that I learned throughout throughout being a recovering addict and now into my business. So I felt obligated to do a podcast or, just a YouTube channel where I would help people, right? I will help you guys with whatever you want to do. If you're interested in how to start up a brick and mortar shop, if you're interested in how to become an online entrepreneur, whatever it is, you don't have to be held down by your past in the regular world either. There's a whole internet world out there that will accept you as long as you continue to do the right thing for the right reason. That's the main thing, guys. We have to do the right thing for the right reason. Your business is just like anything else. If you're, living shady, you will be exposed. You will be exposed either by yourself or, somebody that you're dealing with, whatever it is. So what I like to teach is that we do things for the right reason. And a lot of times that equates to long-term wealth. Now, I won't guarantee anybody results, but I will be here to help guide because I feel like it's my obligation. And I know that a lot of people out there are going to have a different opinion. They're going to say like, oh, you may be exploiting, recovering addicts to grow your business. And honestly, guys, I don't care if you join my business opportunity or if you go out and start your own. I really don't care. I just want to make sure that you guys have the tools and a forum to be able to work on yourselves so that you can get results and change your life. Because ultimately, whether you come in on a business opportunity I offer for you or you go on to somebody else's, the more people that I help get to their financial goals and change their lives, the more likely I am, even if I'm not making $1, period. The more people that you help get to their goals, the more likely you will get to yours, period. It's the way of the universe. It absolutely is. And so many correlations between recovery and what it takes to become a successful business owner. Once you start down this path, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, right? And even within this process, the more I fought to put God first in my life, before I fought, like I was putting God in all these other areas of my life, but when it came to my business, I felt like God had to be separate and my recovery had to be separate. And I struggled with that because I have that feeling in my that intuition, or I always feel like when you're talking to people and you're holding something back and it's something important to you, your morals, your values, whatever you want to call it, when you can feel that in your chest, that's your higher power, right? That's God. That's God telling you need to let that out. When it's up here and they're saying, no, you don't need to say that. You don't need to talk about that. That's disease. That's limiting beliefs. That's self-destruction, right? You want to follow your heart. And I want to help you guys learn how to do that. So anyways, I'm going to cut this video down now. Please like and share and subscribe to the channel. I'm looking very forward to being part of this journey with you guys. And I hope you guys get something out of this. I'm going to have other recovering addicts that have changed their life around, but it's going to be a mix of both. I just want to make sure that you guys are getting the right information that you need when you need it, because that's what it's all about. I want to help you guys get to your goals. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again.
We went from rags to riches, rags to riches. We went from rags to riches. Look at how far we come, and to think it's the beginning, yet we're far from done. We didn't make it as a scholar, but we're far from dumb. And ain't nobody wanna see us, we're too far to run. Yo, to think we were chilling in bandos with dirt on our shirts, kinda looking like camo, whole rack taking a bus. Living in the ghetto, thank God it just never stuck. Now we pushing even harder, no longer rely on luck. When we're bags up in the arm, there's some keys that go start the truck. Homie, we never taking a break. Time is wasted.